Despite the challenges that we're facing in the current housing market, many millennials are still becoming homeowners. In this video, I want to share with you what strategies they're using so that you can potentially use these strategies yourself to become a homeowner as well. So I came across this study done by Roy LePage, and they were asking millennials how confident they feel in becoming future homeowners. Based on this study, it was found that 60% of millennials felt that they definitely would become homeowners in the future. For me, reading this study was such refreshing news because I don't know about you, but I noticed that in the past couple of months, there have just been a ton of articles focusing in on how people can't get in the market or how scary the market is or how unattainable home ownership will ever be. This is why I thought it was so important to share with you on how the millennial mindset is changing how they go about looking at home ownership so that they can move forward into attaining their goals no matter what. I just recently did another video on tips on how to become a homeowner. So if you think that video would be helpful for you, please check out the link above. So now let's get into what strategies millennials are using to achieve their housing goals. So as a millennial, when I was in search of my first home, I lived in Scarborough, and the homes in Scarborough were pretty high priced. It's something that I couldn't really afford. So instead of just deciding to put my home ownership goals on the back burner, I decided, I have to figure out a way on where I can actually afford a home. So I knew that if I wanted to afford a home, I had to go out of Scarborough. And that's how I ended up further east in Durham, where the houses were more affordable. Which brings me into the first strategy that millennials are using. Based on this study, 37% of millennials have chosen to relocate in order to qualify for a home. So I know what you're thinking. This current market, no matter where you go, whether it's the GTA or its surrounding areas, everywhere you go, home prices are pretty expensive. So another strategy that millennials are using is that they're buying later on in life. And what I mean by this is because the home prices are more expensive, what they're trying to do is stay at home a little bit longer if they possibly can, so that they can save more money to put down towards their down payment. I know this type of scenario might not work for everybody, but if your parent or some type of family member is willing to let you live in their home for a bit longer, rent-free, it'll give you that opportunity to actually save up more and then qualify. I know this is something that I did. I stayed with my parents for a lengthy period of time so that I could accumulate more money in order to put towards a down payment. So it was a strategy that worked for me as well. I remember when I first purchased my first home, it was not my dream home, but I considered it my starter home. And this brings me into the next strategy that millennials are using, which they're buying to actually get into the market so that they can eventually move on to buy their dream property in the future. When working with clients, I noticed that many try to look for perfection. They're all trying to look for their forever home. Purchasing your forever home will not be something that everybody can accomplish right from the start. And this is something that can really hold you back if you're looking for perfection. Going back to when I purchased my first property, it didn't have everything that I wanted, but it got me into the market. And over the years, my home appreciated in value, and it allowed me to pull the equity out and actually purchase income properties. So what I'm trying to tell you here is if you're waiting to find your perfect dream home, you're missing out on opportunities that can grow you wealth. Getting in as soon as possible is what's going to move you forward. So another strategy that millennials are using is that they're choosing to leave their in-office job to find a job where they can work remotely. This way, it puts the pressure off of finding a home in a specific area because now working remotely allows them to work anywhere from the comfort of their own home. This is actually something I did myself. I used to work downtown, but when COVID hit and my family needed me to be home, I had to make a change. And that's when I made a career shift and was now able to work from home. I now save a ton of money not having to pay for travel expenses, and I can be there for my family while working at the same time. So as you can see, millennials are being creative because they're finding ways to get into the market while maintaining their job at the same time. This brings me into my last point. This point is really important because it's all about perspective. Now, we all know that interest rates have been rising consistently, but millennials are not using this as a deterrent to get them from not getting into the market. The way that they're looking at interest rate hikes is not in a frame of fear. Instead of looking at the consistent interest rate hike as something negative, they're actually looking for the benefit out of this. So what I mean by this is, even though interest rates are increasing, historically, they're at the lowest that they've ever been. And this is the perspective that the millennials are holding onto. They're not letting this small factor stop them from actually getting into the market. So as you can see, based on all the strategies that millennials are using, there's one consistent factor here. They're staying optimistic. Nothing is going to stand in their way of becoming a homeowner. They're not paying attention on how to get in the market. They're looking at when they're going to get in the market because they're going to take whatever steps necessary to reach their goal of home ownership. If you're unsure on how to make these strategies work for you, or you're not sure how you can qualify, reach out to your realtor and have them guide you through the process. Or if you would like, feel free to reach out to myself and I'd be more than happy to go through what your goals are so that we can come up with a way to get you to achieve your goal of homeownership. I hope this video was helpful about learning some of the strategies that millennials are using to get into the market in hopes that you can take some of these steps to get into the market as well. Thanks for watching.